Question 1. What is the primary purpose of the Texas Real Estate License Act? A. To regulate residential property prices. B. To establish education requirements for real estate agents. C. To protect the public against unscrupulous practices in real estate. D. To provide financial assistance to real estate agents. Answer: C. To protect the public against unscrupulous practices in real estate. Explanation: the Texas Real Estate License Act primarily aims to protect the public against unethical and incompetent practices in the real estate industry by regulating licensing and enforcing standards for real estate professionals. Question 2. In Texas, which type of deed is most commonly used to transfer property? A. Quitclaim deed. B. General warranty deed. C. Trustee's deed. D. Special warranty deed. Answer: B. General warranty deed. Explanation: in Texas, the general warranty deed is most commonly used for transferring property. It provides the highest level of buyer protection, guaranteeing clear title and that the seller will defend against any title claims. Question 3. Define homestead protection as it applies in Texas real estate law. A. Protection against property tax. B. Protection against certain types of lawsuits. C. Insurance against natural disasters. D. Guarantee of property value appreciation. Answer: B. Protection against certain types of lawsuits. Explanation: homestead protection in Texas real estate law safeguards homeowners from losing their homes to certain types of creditors or lawsuits, ensuring their right to retain the homestead in the face of financial difficulties. Question 4. Explain the difference between a general warranty deed and a special warranty deed. A. A general warranty deed offers limited warranty, while a special warranty deed offers a full warranty. B. A general warranty deed is used for commercial properties, while a special warranty deed is for residential properties. C. A general warranty deed offers warranty for the entire history of the property, while a special warranty deed only for the seller's period of ownership. D. There is no difference. They are interchangeable terms. Answer: C. A general warranty deed offers warranty for the entire history of the property, while a special warranty deed only for the seller's period of ownership. Explanation: a general warranty deed offers a full warranty covering the entire history of the property, guaranteeing clear title against all claims. In contrast, a special warranty deed only covers the period during which the seller owned the property. Question 5. What are the legal implications of a property encroachment in Texas? A. Mandatory property sale. B. Possible legal disputes and potential requirement for property alteration or compensation. C. Automatic transfer of encroached land to the encroaching owner. D. No legal implications unless objected by the local government. Answer: B. Possible legal disputes and potential requirement for property alteration or compensation. Explanation: property encroachment in Texas can lead to legal disputes. The encroached party may require the encroaching party to alter the property or provide compensation. Legal action can be pursued to resolve the issue. Question 6. Describe the characteristics and implications of a community property state as applicable in Texas. A. Properties purchased by one spouse are solely owned by them. B. Properties and debts acquired during marriage are owned equally by both spouses. C. Community property applies only to real estate, not personal property. D. Spouses have no claim to each other's properties, regardless of when acquired. Answer: B. Properties and debts acquired during marriage are owned equally by both spouses. Explanation: in a community property state like Texas, properties and debts acquired during the marriage are considered jointly owned by both spouses, regardless of whose name is on the title. Question 7. What does the term non-homogeneity refer to in real estate? A. The uniformity in property tax rates. B. The similarity in real estate market trends. C. The uniqueness of each property. D. The standardization of real estate contracts. Answer C. The uniqueness of each property. Explanation. Non-homogeneity in real estate refers to the concept that no two properties are exactly alike. Each property is unique in terms of location, structure, and characteristics. Question 8. How is market value of a property typically determined in Texas? A. By the local government's assessment. B. Through a public auction process. C. Based on the historical purchase price. D. Using comparable sales and property analysis. Answer D. Using comparable sales and property analysis. Explanation. Market value of a property in Texas is typically determined by analyzing comparable sales, comps, and conducting a thorough property analysis, considering factors like location, condition, and market trends. Question 9. What is the significance of comparative market analysis, CMA, in real estate transactions? A. It determines the rental income of a property. B. It is used to evaluate a property's tax liabilities. C. It helps in setting the listing price by comparing similar properties. D. It is a mandatory legal document for property transfer. Answer C. It helps in setting the listing price by comparing similar properties. Explanation. Comparative market analysis, CMA, is significant in real estate transactions as it helps in determining the appropriate listing price of a property by comparing it with similar properties that have recently sold or are currently on the market. Question 10. Identify and explain the three main types of real estate appraisals. A. Cost, income, and sales comparison. B. Residential, commercial, and industrial. C. Urban, rural, and suburban. D. Historical, current, and future. Answer A. Cost, income, and sales comparison. Explanation. The three main types of real estate appraisals are cost, estimating the cost to replace or reproduce the property. Income, focusing on the income-generating potential. And sales comparison, comparing with similar recently sold properties. Question 11. What are line priorities and how are they typically determined in Texas? A. Order of importance of leases on a property, determined by lease duration. B. Sequence in which lines are paid off in the event of a property sale, determined by line type. C. Ranking of property taxes over other payments, determined by property value. D. Order of real estate agent commissions, determined by contract. Answer B. Sequence in which lines are paid off in the event of a property sale, determined by line type. Explanation. Line priorities determine the sequence in which different lines on a property are paid off, typically in the event of a foreclosure or sale. In Texas, this is often determined by the type of line and the date it was placed on the property. Question 12. Explain the right of first refusal in a real estate context. A. The seller's right to refuse any offer that doesn't meet their asking price. B. The tenant's right to purchase the property before the landlord sells it to someone else. C. The buyer's right to refuse the property after a home inspection. D. The lender's right to refuse a mortgage application. Answer B. The tenant's right to purchase the property before the landlord sells it to someone else. Explanation. The right of first refusal in real estate is a contractual right that allows a party, typically a tenant, to have the first opportunity to purchase a property before the owner can sell it to someone else. Question 13. How does the Texas Property Code define material fact in real estate transactions? A. A fact that significantly affects the value of the property. B. Any fact related to the property's zoning status. C. Information about the previous owners of the property. D. Details about the property's construction year. Answer A. A fact that significantly affects the value of the property. Explanation. A material fact in Texas real estate transactions is defined as any fact that could significantly affect the value of the property or a buyer's decision to purchase it. This includes issues like structural defects or legal complications. Question 14. What are the legal consequences of breaching fiduciary duties by a real estate agent in Texas? A. Immediate revocation of the agent's license. B. Mandatory completion of additional education courses. C. Legal and financial liabilities, including possible damages. D. Compulsory community service. Answer. C. Legal and financial liabilities, including possible damages. Explanation. Breaching fiduciary duties by a real estate agent in Texas can result in legal and financial liabilities. The agent may be held responsible for damages caused to the client and could face lawsuits or disciplinary actions. Question 15. What is a fiduciary duty and how does it apply to real estate agents in Texas? A. Duty to ensure the property is free from defects. B. Obligation to maximize profits for the client. C. Responsibility to act in the best interests of the client. D. Requirement to disclose all offers to the client immediately. Answer. C. Responsibility to act in the best interests of the client. Explanation. A fiduciary duty in real estate is the obligation of agents to act loyally and honestly, always in the best interests of their clients, placing the client's interests above their own. Question 16. Define constructive eviction and its implications in a landlord-tenant relationship. A. When a landlord legally evicts a tenant for non-payment of rent. B. When a tenant voluntarily leaves the property due to the landlord's negligence. C. When a landlord makes the property uninhabitable, forcing the tenant to leave. D. When a tenant is evicted for violating property rules. Answer. C. When a landlord makes the property uninhabitable, forcing the tenant to leave. Explanation. Constructive eviction occurs when a landlord's actions or neglect make the property uninhabitable, effectively forcing the tenant to leave. This can be grounds for the tenant to break the lease without penalty. Question 17. Explain the Texas Homestead Law and its significance in real estate. A. Law that mandates the size of a homestead. B. Law that provides tax benefits for first-time homebuyers. C. Law that protects a primary residence from certain types of creditors. D. Law that regulates the rental of homestead properties. Answer. C. Law that protects a primary residence from certain types of creditors. Explanation. The Texas Homestead Law provides significant protection for a homeowner's primary residence. It prevents forced sale of the home by certain types of creditors, thus offering financial protection to homeowners. Question 18. What are the essential elements required for a real estate contract to be enforceable in Texas? A. Signed by a notary, property description, and closing date. B. Witness signatures, down payment details, and inspection reports. C. Competent parties, lawful objective, and consideration. D. Pre-approval from a lender, disclosure statements, and an appraisal. Answer. C. Competent parties, lawful objective, and consideration. Explanation. For a real estate contract to be enforceable in Texas, it must include competent parties, legally capable of contracting, a lawful objective, legal purpose, and consideration, something of value exchange D. Question 19. Describe the process and importance of title search in real estate transactions in Texas. A. A process to estimate the property's market value. B. Review of property records to ensure clear title. C. Inspection of the property's physical condition. D. Assessment of the property's environmental impact. Answer. B. Review of property records to ensure clear title. Explanation. A title search in Texas real estate transactions involves reviewing public records to ensure the property has a clear title. This is important to identify any existing lines, easements, or encumbrances. Question 20. What does zoning entail, and how can it affect real estate use in Texas? A. It involves dividing land into zones for different types of development and use. B. It is the process of pricing properties according to their locations. C. It refers to the seasonal use of properties. D. It is the allocation of properties for either commercial or residential use only. Answer A. It involves dividing land into zones for different types of development and use. Explanation. Zoning entails dividing land into different areas or zones according to the permitted types of development and use, for example, residential, commercial, industrial. It affects how properties in those areas can be used and developed. Question 21. What legal action can be taken if a property's use violates local zoning ordinances in Texas? A. Mandatory sale of the property. B. Imposition of a fine and requirement to cease the violating use. C. Automatic rezoning of the property. D. No action, as property use is at the owner's discretion. Answer B. Imposition of a fine and requirement to cease the violating use. Explanation. If a property's use violates local zoning ordinances in Texas, legal actions such as the imposition of fines and the requirement to cease the violating use can be taken. The property owner must comply with zoning regulations. Question 22. Define dual agency in the context of Texas real estate transactions. A. Representing both the buyer and seller in the same transaction. B. Working with two different real estate agencies simultaneously. C. Selling two properties at the same time. D. Acting as both a broker and an appraiser. Answer. A. Representing both the buyer and seller in the same transaction. Explanation. Dual agency in Texas real estate transactions refers to an agent or broker representing both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction, which requires full disclosure and consent from both parties. Question 23. Explain the concept of earnest money in a real estate contract. A. A penalty fee for contract cancellation. B. A security deposit for property damages. C. An advance payment towards the purchase price. D. A deposit showing the buyer's serious intent to purchase. Answer D. A deposit showing the buyer's serious intent to purchase. Explanation. Earnest money in a real estate contract is a deposit made by the buyer to demonstrate their serious intent to complete the purchase. It's part of the purchase price and shows commitment to the transaction. Question 24. Describe what constitutes a legal description of property in Texas. A. A verbal description of the property's features. B. A description using the property's street address. C. A precise, formal description of a property's boundaries. D. A description approved by a real estate attorney. Answer. C. A precise, formal description of a property's boundaries. Explanation. A legal description of property in Texas is a precise, formal description that defines the property's exact boundaries. It typically includes reference to surveys, lot numbers, and subdivisions. Question 25. How does Texas law address the disclosure of known property defects by sellers? A. Disclosure is optional but recommended. B. Sellers must disclose all known defects to buyers. C. Only defects affecting property value must be disclosed. D. Defects must be repaired before selling. Answer. B. Sellers must disclose all known defects to buyers. Explanation. Texas law requires sellers to disclose all known defects to potential buyers. This includes any issues that could affect the property's safety, value, or desirability. Question 26. What are the continuing education requirements for a real estate sales agent in Texas to maintain their license? A. 10 hours every 2 years. B. 18 hours every 4 years. C. 12 hours annually. D. 18 hours every 2 years. Answer. D. 18 hours every 2 years. Explanation. In Texas, real estate sales agents are required to complete 18 hours of continuing education every 2 years to maintain their license. This ensures agents stay updated on laws and best practices. Question 27. In Texas real estate, What is meant by seller financing and what are its implications? A. The seller provides a loan to the buyer to finance the purchase. B. The seller assists the buyer in finding a suitable mortgage lender. C. The seller pays for the buyer's closing costs. D. The seller guarantees the property's mortgage. Answer: A. The seller provides a loan to the buyer to finance the purchase. Explanation: Seller financing in Texas real estate occurs when the seller provides a loan to the buyer to finance the property purchase. This can be an alternative to traditional mortgage lending and offers different terms and risks. Question 28. How do property taxes in Texas impact homeownership and real estate transactions? A. They significantly increase the cost of homeownership. B. They are only applied to commercial properties. C. They reduce the property's market value. D. They have no impact as they are negligible. Answer: A. They significantly increase the cost of homeownership. Explanation: Property taxes in Texas can significantly impact homeownership and real estate transactions by increasing the overall cost of owning a property. They are a key factor in the total housing expenses. Question 29. Explain the difference between real property and personal property. A. Real property is movable, while personal property is immovable. B. Real property includes land and buildings, while personal property includes movable items. C. There is no difference. Both terms mean the same. D. Real property is for residential use, while personal property is for commercial use. Answer: B. Real property includes land and buildings, while personal property includes movable items. Explanation: Real property refers to immovable property like land and buildings, whereas personal property includes movable items such as furniture, vehicles, and personal belongings. Question 30. What are the requirements for obtaining a real estate sales agent license in Texas? A. Completion of a bachelor's degree in real estate. B. Passing a background check and a state licensing exam. C. Membership in a national real estate organization. D. A minimum of 5 years of experience in property management. Answer: B. Passing a background check and a state licensing exam. Explanation: To obtain a real estate sales agent license in Texas, an individual must pass a background check and a state licensing exam. This ensures that agents meet the necessary legal and ethical standards. Question 31. Scenario: A buyer in Texas discovers a latent defect after purchasing a home. What legal recourse is available? A. The buyer has no recourse as inspections should be done before purchase. B. The buyer can request a property tax reduction. C. The buyer can sue the seller if the defect was knowingly concealed. D. The buyer must repair the defect at their own expense. Answer: C. The buyer can sue the seller if the defect was knowingly concealed. Explanation: If a buyer in Texas discovers a latent defect that was knowingly concealed by the seller, they may have legal recourse to sue the seller for damages or to rescind the sale. Question 32. Define amortization in the context of real estate finance. A. The process of increasing the property's market value. B. The division of a loan into equal payments over a specified period. C. The calculation of property taxes based on property value. D. The assessment of a property's rental potential. Answer: B. The division of a loan into equal payments over a specified period. Explanation: Amortization in real estate finance refers to the process of dividing a mortgage loan into equal payments spread over a specified period, typically including both principal and interest components. Question 33. What is a 1031 exchange, and how is it used in Texas real estate investments? A. A process to exchange investment properties to defer capital gains taxes. B. A method to convert residential properties into commercial ones. C. A legal framework for transferring property between family members. D. A system for exchanging properties with foreign investors. Answer: A. A process to exchange investment properties to defer capital gains taxes. Explanation: a 1031 exchange used in Texas real estate investments allows investors to exchange one investment property for another and defer capital gains taxes that would otherwise be incurred on the sale. Question 34. How does the Fair Housing Act impact real estate practices in Texas? A. It mandates equal housing opportunities regardless of race, religion, or national origin. B. It regulates the pricing of houses in different neighborhoods. C. It requires all properties to be accessible to disabled individuals. D. It limits the number of properties an individual can own. Answer: A. It mandates equal housing opportunities regardless of race, religion, or national origin. Explanation: the Fair Housing Act impacts real estate practices in Texas by prohibiting discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status, ensuring equal housing opportunities. Question 35. What is escrow and how is it used in Texas real estate transactions? A. A legal agreement for property lease. B. A type of mortgage insurance. C. A third-party account holding funds or documents until the transaction is complete. D. A property appraisal system. Answer: C. A third-party account holding funds or documents until the transaction is complete. Explanation: in Texas real estate transactions, escrow refers to a neutral third-party account where funds, documents, or other items of value are held until all conditions of the transaction are met. Question 36. Explain the concept of leverage in real estate investment. A. The use of borrowed funds to increase potential return on investment. B. The process of rapidly buying and selling properties for profit. C. Investing in multiple properties to spread risk. D. The ability to control property prices in a given area. Answer: A. The use of borrowed funds to increase potential return on investment. Explanation: leverage in real estate investment involves using borrowed funds, like mortgages, to finance property purchases, potentially increasing the return on investment compared to using solely personal funds. Question 37. What role does the Federal Reserve System play in real estate finance? A. It directly provides loans to homebuyers. B. It regulates and supervises real estate agents. C. It influences interest rates and monetary policy affecting mortgages. D. It insures mortgage loans. Answer: C. It influences interest rates and monetary policy affecting mortgages. Explanation: the Federal Reserve System plays a crucial role in real estate finance by influencing interest rates and overall monetary policy, which in turn affects mortgage rates and the housing market. Question 38. Describe the implications of eminent domain in Texas real estate law. A. It allows homeowners to sell their property above market value. B. It prevents the government from taking private property for public use. C. It enables the government to take private property for public use with compensation. D. It restricts property sales to foreign entities. Answer: C. It enables the government to take private property for public use with compensation. Explanation: eminent domain in Texas real estate law allows the government to take private property for public use, such as for roads or schools, provided that the property owner is fairly compensated. Question 39. What is a real estate syndicate and how does it operate in Texas? A. A group of agents working together to sell a property. B. A government agency regulating real estate transactions. C. A group of investors pooling resources to invest in properties. D. A legal framework for transferring properties without taxes. Answer: C. A group of investors pooling resources to invest in properties. Explanation: a real estate syndicate in Texas is a group of investors who pool their resources to invest in larger real estate projects than they could individually afford, sharing profits and risks. Question 40. Explain the statute of frauds as it applies to real estate transactions in Texas. A. It requires all real estate transactions to be in writing and signed. B. It prohibits fraudulent activities in real estate. C. It mandates a fraud inspection for every property transaction. D. It is a statute that regulates international real estate investments. Answer. A. It requires all real estate transactions to be in writing and signed. Explanation. The statute of frauds in Texas real estate law requires that all transactions involving the sale of real property must be in writing and signed by the party to be charged to be enforceable. Question 41. Scenario. Jane is a Texas real estate agent representing a seller. She receives an offer on a property, but realizes the offer is from her brother. What should Jane do in this situation according to Texas real estate law and ethical guidelines? A. Accept the offer without notifying the seller. B. Decline the offer immediately due to conflict of interest. C. Disclose the relationship to the seller and obtain consent to proceed. D. Transfer the listing to another agent in her office. Answer. C. Disclose the relationship to the seller and obtain consent to proceed. Explanation. Jane must disclose the familial relationship to the seller as it presents a potential conflict of interest. She can proceed only if the seller consents after being fully informed. Question 42. Define the term cap rate in real estate investment and its significance in evaluating properties. A. The rate of return on a property based on its current income. B. The maximum legal interest rate for a real estate loan. C. The capital gain expected from a property sale. D. The ratio of land value to total property value. Answer. A. The rate of return on a property based on its current income. Explanation. Cap rate or capitalization rate is a key metric in real estate investment that indicates the rate of return on a property based on its current income relative to its market value. Question 43. Scenario. A homeowner in Texas wants to sell their house, which has an unpermitted addition. What disclosures or actions are required by law in this situation? A. No disclosure is required as long as the addition is structurally sound. B. Full disclosure of the unpermitted addition to potential buyers. C. Obtain a retroactive building permit before selling. D. Demolish the unpermitted addition before listing the property. Answer. B. Full disclosure of the unpermitted addition to potential buyers. Explanation. The homeowner is legally required to disclose the unpermitted addition to potential buyers. Non-disclosure could lead to legal issues post-sale. Question 44. What is title insurance and why is it important in Texas real estate transactions? A. Insurance covering property damages. B. Insurance protecting against losses from defects in the title. C. Insurance covering missed mortgage payments. D. Insurance for property tax liabilities. Answer. B. Insurance protecting against losses from defects in the title. Explanation. Title insurance is important in Texas real estate transactions as it protects buyers and lenders against losses from defects or issues with the property's title, such as liens or ownership disputes. Question 45. Explain the concept of agency and the different types of agency relationships in Texas real estate. A. Agency refers to legal representation in property litigation. B. Agency is the relationship between a landlord and tenant. C. Agency refers to the relationship between real estate professionals and their clients. D. Agency is a contractual agreement for property management. Answer. C. Agency refers to the relationship between real estate professionals and their clients. Explanation. Agency in Texas real estate refers to the fiduciary relationship between real estate professionals, agents, and their clients, principals, including buyer's agency, seller's agency, and dual agency. Question 46. Scenario. Carlos has a 15-year mortgage on his home in Texas. After 5 years, he wants to pay off his mortgage early. What should Carlos consider regarding prepayment penalties or benefits? A. The mortgage must be paid for at least 10 years before prepayment. B. Carlos will receive a discount on the remaining balance. C. Prepayment may incur penalties or fees depending on the loan terms. D. Early prepayment will negatively affect Carlos' credit score. Answer. C. Prepayment may incur penalties or fees depending on the loan terms. Explanation. Carlos should review his mortgage terms, as some loans include prepayment penalties or fees for paying off the mortgage early, while others do not. Question 47. What are the key differences between residential and commercial real estate transactions in Texas? A. Residential transactions are tax deductible, while commercial are not. B. Commercial transactions involve more complex contracts and zoning laws. C. Residential properties are always cheaper than commercial properties. D. Only commercial transactions require real estate agents. Answer. B. Commercial transactions involve more complex contracts and zoning laws. Explanation. Commercial real estate transactions in Texas typically involve more complex contracts, financing arrangements, and zoning laws compared to residential transactions. Question 48. Define exclusive right to sell listing agreement and its implications for sellers and agents in Texas. A. Agreement where the seller can only sell the property themselves. B. Agreement granting multiple agents the right to sell the property. C. Agreement where only the listing agent has the right to sell the property. D. Agreement requiring the seller to purchase title insurance. Answer. C. Agreement where only the listing agent has the right to sell the property. Explanation. An exclusive right to sell listing agreement in Texas means the listing agent has the exclusive right to sell the property, and they receive the commission regardless of who finds the buyer. Question 49. Scenario. An investor in Texas is interested in a property that has tenants with an existing lease. How does this lease affect the sale and the investor's rights as a new owner? A. The lease is terminated upon sale of the property. B. The investor must renegotiate the lease terms. C. The existing lease terms must be honored by the new owner. D. The tenants must vacate the property before the sale. Answer. C. The existing lease terms must be honored by the new owner. Explanation. When a property in Texas is sold with existing tenants, the new owner must honor the terms of the existing lease until it expires. Question 50. What is the purpose of the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA, in Texas real estate transactions? A. To ensure fair treatment of tenants in rental properties. B. To regulate the activities of real estate syndicates. C. To provide transparency in the costs and procedures of real estate settlements. D. To enforce environmental regulations on real estate developments. Answer. C. To provide transparency in the costs and procedures of real estate settlements. Explanation. The purpose of RESPA in Texas real estate transactions is to provide transparency and disclosure of all costs and procedures involved in the settlement process, protecting buyers from hidden fees and unscrupulous practices. Question 51. Scenario. A Texas property on sale is located in a flood zone. What must the seller disclose to potential buyers regarding this risk? A. The exact date of the last flood event. B. The insurance costs related to flood coverage. C. The property's elevation compared to sea level. D. The property's location in a flood zone. Answer. D. The property's location in a flood zone. Explanation. Texas law requires sellers to disclose if a property is located in a flood zone, as this is a material fact that can significantly affect the property's value and desirability. Question 52. Explain the role and importance of a broker's price opinion, BPO, in the Texas real estate market. A. It is a legal valuation required for all property sales. B. It determines the maximum price for a property auction. C. It provides an estimate of property value for listings or loan evaluations. D. It sets the standard commission rates for real estate agents. Answer: C. It provides an estimate of property value for listings or loan evaluations. Explanation: a broker's price opinion, BPO, in the Texas real estate market provides an estimate of property value, which is often used for listing purposes or loan evaluations, but it is not an official appraisal. Question 53. What is a condominium regime in Texas real estate, and how does it differ from owning a traditional single-family home? A. It's a type of commercial property ownership. B. It involves shared ownership of common areas and individual ownership of units. C. It's a rental system for vacation properties. D. It requires owners to participate in property management. Answer: B. It involves shared ownership of common areas and individual ownership of units. Explanation: a condominium regime in Texas involves the individual ownership of units and shared ownership of common areas and facilities, differing from a single-family home, which involves owning the entire property and land. Question 54. Scenario: a real estate agent in Texas is asked to list a property that is significantly overpriced. What ethical considerations and steps should the agent take? A. Refuse to list the property. B. List the property but disclose the overpricing to buyers. C. Advise the seller on realistic pricing based on market analysis. D. Automatically reduce the listed price to a reasonable level. Answer: C. Advise the seller on realistic pricing based on market analysis. Explanation: the ethical step for the agent is to advise the seller on a realistic pricing strategy based on a comparative market analysis, helping them understand the true market value of the property. Question 55. Define gross rent multiplier, GRM, and its use in evaluating rental properties in Texas. A. A measure of the total rent collected over a year. B. The ratio of the property price to its annual rental income. C. A tax multiplier applied to rental incomes. D. The percentage increase in rent each year. Answer: B. The ratio of the property price to its annual rental income. Explanation: gross rent multiplier, GRM, is used to evaluate rental properties in Texas by comparing the property's price to its annual rental income, providing a quick assessment of its investment potential. Question 56. Scenario: in Texas, a couple is buying a home, but one spouse has a poor credit history. How might this impact their mortgage application, and what alternatives could they consider? A. The application will be automatically denied. B. Only the spouse with good credit should apply for the mortgage. C. The interest rate on the mortgage will be higher. D. They must provide a larger down payment. Answer: B. Only the spouse with good credit should apply for the mortgage. Explanation: if one spouse has a poor credit history, it might be beneficial for only the spouse with good credit to apply for the mortgage to obtain better loan terms, though this may affect the loan amount based on individual income. Question 57. What is a property management agreement, and what key elements should it include in Texas? A. An agreement between the state and property owners for tax purposes. B. A contract between a landlord and tenant outlining rental terms. C. An agreement between a property owner and a management company outlining responsibilities and fees. D. A legal document outlining property boundaries. Answer: C. An agreement between a property owner and a management company outlining responsibilities and fees. Explanation: a property management agreement in Texas is a contract between a property owner and a management company detailing responsibilities, fees, terms of service, and the duration of the agreement. Question 58. Scenario: a commercial property in Texas is being sold with a triple net lease in place. Explain what this means for the buyer. A. The buyer must renegotiate the lease terms. B. The buyer inherits the lease, with tenants responsible for most property expenses. C. The lease is terminated upon sale. D. The buyer becomes responsible for all tenant-related issues. Answer: B. The buyer inherits the lease, with tenants responsible for most property expenses. Explanation: a triple net lease means the buyer inherits the existing lease where tenants are responsible for most property expenses, including taxes, insurance, and maintenance, in addition to rent. Question 59. Describe the process and criteria for a property in Texas to be classified as agricultural use for tax purposes. A. The property must be used primarily for residential purposes. B. The property must be used for farming, ranching, or wildlife preservation. C. The property must be over a certain size. D. The property must be located in a rural area. Answer: B. The property must be used for farming, ranching, or wildlife preservation. Explanation: for a property in Texas to be classified for agricultural use for tax purposes, it must be primarily used for activities like farming, ranching, or wildlife preservation, leading to potential tax benefits. Question 60. Scenario: a Texas real estate agent mistakenly overstates the square footage of a listed property. What are the potential consequences and corrective actions that should be taken? A. The agent can be fined but does not need to correct the information. B. The listing must be immediately removed and corrected. C. The agent should offer a discount to the buyer. D. The mistake must be promptly corrected and disclosed to potential buyers. Answer: D. The mistake must be promptly corrected and disclosed to potential buyers. Explanation: if a real estate agent in Texas overstates the square footage of a property, they should promptly correct the error and disclose the accurate information to potential buyers to maintain transparency and avoid legal repercussions. Question 61. Scenario: a property in Texas is being sold with an existing lease that has 6 months remaining. The tenant has a pet, but the new buyer wants a no-pet policy. What are the legal obligations of the new owner regarding the existing lease terms? A. The new owner can immediately implement a no-pet policy. B. The new owner must honor the existing lease terms, including the pet policy. C. The new owner can terminate the lease early to enforce the no-pet policy. D. The tenant must pay an additional fee to keep the pet. Answer: B. The new owner must honor the existing lease terms, including the pet policy. Explanation: in Texas, when a property is sold with an existing lease, the new owner is legally obligated to honor the terms of that lease, including any pet policies, until the lease expires. Question 62. Define net operating income, NOI, in the context of real estate investment and its significance in property valuation. A. The total income from property sales. B. The income remaining after all operating expenses are deducted from the gross income. C. The income generated from property rentals only. D. The income after deducting property taxes. Answer: B. The income remaining after all operating expenses are deducted from the gross income. Explanation: the net operating income, NOI, in real estate investment is the income left after deducting all necessary operating expenses from the gross income. It's a key metric in evaluating the profitability and value of investment properties. Question 63. Scenario: Sarah, a real estate agent in Texas, discovers that her client's home, which is under contract, has a serious mold problem that was not previously disclosed. What should Sarah do according to Texas law and ethical guidelines? A. Advise the client to fix the problem before closing. B. Immediately disclose the mold problem to the buyer. C. Suggest lowering the selling price to the buyer. D. Keep the information confidential to protect the client's interests. Answer: B. Immediately disclose the mold problem to the buyer. Explanation: Sarah is legally and ethically obligated to disclose any known material defects, like a mold problem, to the buyer, regardless of the stage of the transaction. Question 64. What are mechanics' liens, and how can they impact real estate transactions in Texas? A. Liens for unpaid property taxes. B. Liens placed by contractors for unpaid work. C. Liens placed by previous owners. D. Liens for outstanding mortgage payments. Answer: B. Liens placed by contractors for unpaid work. Explanation: mechanics liens in Texas are liens placed on a property by contractors or suppliers for unpaid work or materials. These liens can complicate or delay real estate transactions until the debts are settled. Question 65. Explain the concept of adverse possession in Texas and the criteria required to make a claim. A. The ability to rent a property without the owner's consent. B. The right to claim property ownership after renting it for a certain period. C. The right to claim property ownership after using it openly and continuously for a specific period. D. The right to annex neighboring land for personal use. Answer: C. The right to claim property ownership after using it openly and continuously for a specific period. Explanation: adverse possession in Texas allows a person to claim ownership of a property if they have used it openly, continuously, and without the owner's consent for a legally specified period. Question 66. Scenario: a buyer in Texas is purchasing a home with a swimming pool. Just before closing, they discover that the pool is not in compliance with local safety regulations. How should this issue be addressed in the transaction? A. The buyer should request a reduction in the sale price. B. The seller must bring the pool into compliance before closing. C. The buyer is responsible for making the pool compliant post-sale. D. The sale must be canceled. Answer: B. The seller must bring the pool into compliance before closing. Explanation: in Texas, it is typically the seller's responsibility to ensure all aspects of the property, including swimming pools, comply with local safety regulations before the closing of the sale. Question 67. What is the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act, and how does it apply to real estate transactions? A. It regulates the trade of commercial properties. B. It protects consumers from fraud and false advertising in real estate transactions. C. It governs the trade practices between real estate agencies. D. It deals with international real estate trade practices. Answer: B. It protects consumers from fraud and false advertising in real estate transactions. Explanation: the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act protects consumers in real estate transactions from deceptive, false, or misleading business practices, ensuring fairness and honesty. Question 68. Scenario: a Texas real estate broker receives an earnest money deposit. What are the broker's responsibilities regarding the handling of these funds? A. Invest the funds until closing. B. Keep the funds in a non-interest-bearing account. C. Deposit the funds in a separate trust or escrow account. D. Return the funds to the buyer if the offer is rejected. Answer: C. Deposit the funds in a separate trust or escrow account. Explanation: in Texas, a real estate broker must deposit earnest money into a separate trust or escrow account, ensuring the funds are safely held and properly accounted for until the transaction is completed or terminated. Question 69. Define Transfer Disclosure Statement, TDS, in Texas real estate and its importance in property transactions. A. A document outlining the terms of property transfer. B. A statement disclosing the property's condition and known defects. C. A financial statement detailing the transfer taxes. D. A legal document transferring property ownership. Answer: B. A statement disclosing the property's condition and known defects. Explanation: a transfer disclosure statement, TDS, in Texas real estate is a disclosure document where the seller must inform the buyer of the property's condition and any known defects, ensuring transparency in the transaction. Question 70. Scenario: a Texas homeowner wants to sell their property, which includes a detached apartment they have been renting out. What tax implications should they be aware of? A. Capital gains tax on the entire property sale. B. No taxes due to the rental property exemption. C. income tax on the rental income only. D. Separate tax rates for the primary residence and rental unit. Answer: A. Capital gains tax on the entire property sale. Explanation: the homeowner should be aware of potential capital gains tax on the sale of the property, including both the primary residence and the rented out apartment, based on the profit made from the sale. Question 71. Explain the difference between joint tenancy and tenancy in common in Texas property law. A. Joint tenancy involves shared ownership with right of survivorship, while tenancy in common does not. B. Tenancy in common is for commercial properties, joint tenancy for residential. C. Joint tenancy requires equal ownership shares. Tenancy in common allows for unequal shares. D and C. Answer: D and C. Explanation: in joint tenancy, co-owners have equal shares with a right of survivorship, whereas in tenancy in common, co-owners can have unequal shares and no right of survivorship upon death. Question 72. Scenario: in Texas, a commercial property landlord wants to increase the rent significantly upon lease renewal. What legal and ethical considerations should be taken into account? A. The increase must be in line with the current market rates and lease terms. B. Rent can be increased to any rate as long as proper notice is given. C. The tenant's ability to pay the increased rent should be considered. D. The landlord should offer relocation assistance to the tenant. Answer: A. The increase must be in line with the current market rates and lease terms. Explanation: the landlord should ensure the rent increase is justifiable, in line with current market rates, and compliant with the existing lease terms and Texas law. Question 73. What is the purpose of the Texas Fair Housing Act, and how does it affect real estate practices? A. To provide affordable housing to low-income families. B. To prevent discrimination in housing based on race, religion, sex, or national origin. C. To regulate the construction of new housing developments. D. To ensure equal property tax rates for all housing. Answer: B. To prevent discrimination in housing based on race, religion, sex, or national origin. Explanation: the Texas Fair Housing Act aims to prevent discrimination in housing and real estate practices based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. Question 74. Scenario: a real estate agent in Texas is representing a buyer who is a close friend. How should the agent manage this relationship to maintain professionalism and comply with legal requirements? A. Terminate the agency relationship due to conflict of interest. B. Keep the relationship confidential and proceed as usual. C. Disclose the relationship to all parties involved and obtain consent. D. Transfer the friend to another agent in the same brokerage. Answer: C. Disclose the relationship to all parties involved and obtain consent. Explanation: the agent should disclose the personal relationship to all relevant parties, including the seller or seller's agent, and obtain consent to ensure transparency and adherence to ethical standards. Question 75. Describe the process and requirements for a broker license in Texas compared to a sales agent license. A. A broker license requires a higher education level but has the same experience requirements as a sales agent license. B. A broker license requires additional experience and education compared to a sales agent license. C. The requirements are the same, but the broker license has a higher fee. D. A sales agent license allows for independent practice, while a broker license does not. Answer: B. A broker license requires additional experience and education compared to a sales agent license. Explanation: obtaining a broker license in Texas requires more experience and education than a sales agent license. Brokers have higher responsibilities, including the ability to manage their own real estate business.